to be fighting for early voting and online voter registration and weekend voting. We ought to be fighting against voter suppression laws. When Mr. Trump, that guy who sits in the White House currently, well, he's probably at one of his resorts playing golf today. I think he gets away every 2 or 3 days. But I'm taking a shot at the president. But my point is, when Mr. Trump talks about illegal voting and illegal voters, what he's really doing is setting the stage for more voter suppression laws. And as the city clerk and as the chief elections officer, we really have to use our bully pulpit to fight against that foolishness. There is no science to photo ID other than the adverse impact it has on communities of color. African Americans, for example, we vote at a rate of almost 75% straight ticket voting. So when you eliminate straight ticket voting, you really have adverse impact on communities of color and African Americans in particular. It makes the lines longer. All of those are the kinds of things you have to use your bully pulpit as the chief elections officer to advocate for or to advocate against.
So what they did was they took the data that they accumulated and now they collected it and they turn around and use it against us, saying this is what the minorities have done in the past, so we block this, we block them. So it's not like they don't know. They know exactly what they're doing.
And they spent most of the years since slavery finding new ways to enslave, particularly African Americans, and to have adverse impact on communities of color. You are absolutely right, Marjorie. I'm saying we've got to fight back, and we've got to be very strategic in the way we fight back. But and I know we've got a regressive legislature right now, and we don't always get the things out of Lansing. In fact, we get very few of the things out of Lansing that we know will help our particular community. But there are some things that you don't need anybody's permission to do. You don't need permission to go sit before the Detroit School Board or go into different high schools or find a way to get into these high schools and work with young people. So when young people walk across the stage and get their high school diploma, they also collect their voter registration card. We don't need Lansing to tell us we can or can't do that. At the NAACP, for example, I don't know if a year has gone by where we didn't partner with the Wayne County Sheriff's Office and go into the jails and register people because the adverse impact of the criminal justice system has had measurable impacts on many of our young African Americans. So they are excited to see when we come in to register and help them to get registered and participate in the voting process. So I am saying that there are things we can do, and it is our hope and prayer that we get a legislature that cares about the revitalization of this entire state. And the unfortunate reality is, Michigan is dead last in we're second to last in education. We're dead last on progressive voter mobilization efforts. And it's unfortunate, but, as long as you try and hold your largest urban center down, everybody wallows in the mud. So until we get the right kind of leadership that really wants to see Michigan take its place, its rightful place in the world of progressivity, everybody loses. So I'm just saying, you've got a bully pulpit, you've got a unique ability to articulate what is good and what works, what serves the greater good. But when you have adverse impact on black folk and on brown folk and on red folk and on yellow folk, everybody loses because you don't get the best out of people.
Hi, Rob. Thanks for checking in. You're on the Mildred Gaddis Show.
Well, we're going to start with the highest landing office again and just say these people are not ready for prime time. My question is, or my thought is, how can she, Janice Winfrey, cut the votes in the election that she's running in? That's my problem with this whole process, because I didn't trust her in the first place years ago, and I really don't trust her voting, counting her own votes. But, with all said, with everything said and done, tell me why I should choose you. I'm not going to choose her, but why should I choose you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Rob. Well, Rob, if you want bold leadership, if you want somebody who's committed to transformation and positive change, if you want somebody that brings a track record of getting it done, then I'm your guy. And I deserve, but you deserve every opportunity to get to know me. I've got to spend some time making sure you get acquainted with me. I've got a track record, brother. I'm not new to this experience. So I am telling you, take a look at the entire political landscape. I leave a trail.
I do.
Say it again, Rob. I'm sorry.
Believe me, I do.
Yes, sir.
Mildred brings me out every time it's time to talk politics.
Well, that's a good thing. And I mean, and politics is what I love, and politics is what I do. And I typically, I'm the kind of brother, I don't always care who gets the credit. I've always been more committed to getting it done. This is a unique moment. I recognize the value of adding my voice to the process. And it's probably, and not to put you on the spot, Rob, but it's probably a whole bunch of brothers like you who we probably really need to push you out front. But it's a tough decision, especially in this city and in this region, to make the decision to run for public office because of the exposure that comes with it.
Well, I'm a lifelong Detroiter, and I'm a lifelong Detroiter who lost money. I'm retired from the city of Detroit, who lost money in the pension and the politics that all of that ran, because that was a politic move in the bankruptcy. And so we need help. We need help. The churches need help in the fight and losing and what they're losing in this water bill fight. But we need help in politics.
So and that's a part of why, Brother Rob, that's a part of why our team is Reclaim Our Voice. If you're old enough, like me and many of our listeners, we remember when Detroit was a powerhouse politically. We know that who you elect determines who gets selected. And if you opt out of the process by not exercising your right to vote, you give up your voice, you give up your power. I am simply saying we've got to be very laser-like focused on the process. When voting season rolls around, well, and let me say it a different way. Most of what needs to happen on election day has to happen long before you get to the day of. It's based on extensive community engagement. It's based on community partnerships. It's based on engaging the precinct delegates and the block club leaders and the neighborhood associations. That's where the work gets done. And it has to happen long before you get to the election season. So, I mean, I appreciate you, but we've got a lot of talented people, and we need people to step up because we've got power, and we've got to use it.
Thank you so much. We've got John. John, you're on the air with Hester Wheeler.
Hello, music. Get it. You got the right gentleman on this corner, Mr. Hester Wheeler. I want to do a reality check now. I congratulate you to your endeavors. So, but listen, you got one of the worst governors out of 50 you can rank 47 in the country. So you got a devil up there. Hello.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. I hear the echo, so I just went over with it. Okay, well, and this mayor. He's dragging his foot down there. That guy don't care about the voters and so forth, and he ain't pushing the voter registration. And I like when you speak on this court, the U.S. federal court ruled on judge ruled on Texas. They were pressing discrimination, and this is the second time that they ruled on it, and they come up both times saying that that's what they were doing. So